I have nothing. I have nothing snappy. Time's up. Let's do this.
We're in for a wild night.
Welcome everyone to episode 254 of Born to be Wild, a wild Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the wild formats of Hearthstone, and spotlighting members of the wild community. I am your host, ElectricSheepCity. It's great to be back on this wonderful Friday evening here in Kickin' Rad, Colorado. I am joined by fellow host, Schmoopydady.
What do I do with my hands?
So for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. We record this podcast live every Friday evening at twitch.tv/borntobewildhs, and the video version of this podcast is posted to YouTube shortly thereafter. Audio versions are also distributed to all of the podcast apps. So however you are watching, listening, or absorbing via osmosis this podcast today, thank you. Yes, you.
Content plug, Schmoopydady. Before we get into the main topic of the show tonight, I'd like to say a quick thank you to the patrons of our show. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video on YouTube. Another simple way to support the show is to leave a review on your podcast platform of choice. And if you're watching live on Twitch, we've got some awesome emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to the channel. This is free if you use Amazon Prime. Finally, if you'd like to support the show financially, you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 per month. We have some channels in the Discord that are unlocked by subscribing to the Patreon, where you can see the show coming together each week. Check it out. If you'd like to interact with us personally, please join our Discord, a free and amazing online community of friends from all across the world who love talking about Wild Hearthstone. Links to all of this stuff and more, including our merch, can be found on our website, which is www.borntobewildhs.com. Sheep, how's your week?
So, you know how last week I was like, and I've got what'll probably turn into a sinus infection? Well, the very next day, Saturday, it very much was. So I was like completely out of commission for work and everything, like Monday and Tuesday. This was a real bad one. I'm going to spare y'all the gory details, but I am going to say that there are some literally gory details to spare, and just kind of leave it at that. It's been a very unpleasant experience. But after I came out the other side of that thing, I hit legend in our wild format of Hearthstone. Yeah.
Yay!
It had actually... It had actually been a month or two, grad school, finishing up that thing. I wasn't worried about it. But this one I did with the new Quest Priest, and what I'm going to call Big Priest. So we're going to talk about that deck more in depth a little bit later. But I did, in fact, hit legend with that thing. It was a lot of fun. Playing quote unquote Big Priest, or Quest Priest, the new Quest. And yeah, work has been very, very busy, and kind of sapping my will to live a little bit. But what is not sapping my will to live is speaking with my buddy Schmoopydady. So Schmoopy, how's your week been, bud?
Yeah, so Schmoopy himself is still going to camp, since I like doing little updates on Schmoopy first. Schmoopy's still going to camp. It's like a gymnastics camp, so they start the morning with stretching, and then they do, some mat stuff, and they get him outside, and they have him run around, and they let him play games. And then they bring him back in, and they have him climb all over like the rock wall and swing on monkey bars and jump in the pit and do stuff like that. So he's coming home sweaty every day. So we feel good about that because that's better than letting him like rot on like Pokemon Silver, Heart Silver, or sorry, Heart Gold or Soul Silver. Better than him playing on the iPad all day, or not iPad. Whichever the Amazon one is. I'm sorry, Daddy Bezos, that I don't remember your exact thing. Oh, the Kindle.
Dude. They never did a re-release of Crystal. I'm starting to. I just realized that, and I played a ton of Heart Gold and Soul Silver back in the day, and of course OG Silver and Gold. What?
I played a ton of OG Silver and a ton of OG Gold, but I kind of like dropped the games after a certain age, and then had like a resurgence in my 20s. I'm like, wait, no, these games are sick. What am I doing? But it was always the old stuff. It was never the remakes. So like when I tried to play a profile in the remakes with like my old strategies and like how I used to play, I was kind of getting my butt kicked on some of the bosses because the AI got so much better. Like the bud catcher kid with like doing the U-turn and then sending out like Metapod or Kakuna, and by the time like he's done U-turning the crap out of you, like your best guys are out. So you need like a party that's like 4 or 5 deep in order to get him, or you need to like figure out, oh, he's going to U-turn this turn. We're going to do there's like a lot more strategy into it than I was able to get away with just overtraining and just knowing weaknesses back when I was like, I don't know, 12. So yeah, I don't know. But he's pretty good. He just doesn't train his Pokemon evenly. So like he's got Ho-Ho that's like a level 60, and then he's also like dragging around this Golem that's like a level 33, and he's going to the Elite Four. It's like, bro.
Oh,
come
no,
on, dude.
buddy.
You could take time. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, listen, this is what Daddy used to do. Daddy used to grind out levels on all his Pokemon and get him to a certain point, and then you walk in and you just wipe the floor at the place because, like, that was it. And he's not patient like that. He's like, no, I hated losing the battles. He actively chooses to go in, lose, farm money, black out, reheal, go back in, farm them, lose, go back, and eventually he like buys a ton of revives and full restores, and he's just like, all right, I'm just gonna house them now with what I got. And it worked today. Usually it would take another week or so the first time he did this crap, but you know what, he got there with none of the Pokemon that I was initially training. He like just completely was just like, no, I like Gengar, I like Golem, and I'll take all of the legendary dogs and go from there.
And Ho-Oh.
And Ho-Ho. Don't worry. He'll go get Lugia eventually. Generally frustrated. Like I don't know. Playing Wild on stream is still fun. Off stream, figuring out what game mode I want to play, where I don't want to. This is going to sound a little bit pretentious, but I don't want to leave like an MMR where I can get away with viewer decks by winning too much. So I don't play a ton of Wild off stream, really, unless I'm pretty convinced that whatever deck I'm going to be playing for fun off stream is going to have me at like a 45% win rate. And I haven't really like gotten the inspiration to do that since like when Quest Warrior was new. Highlander Quest Warrior was new, or like I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a Reno Warrior, and it's going to use all the Cthulhu minions. And I was like doing like, stuff like that. Like, okay, this might not win a game in like an hour on the treadmill. And like it won like 4. I went like 4-4, and I'm like, wow, this is so cooked right now. So I don't know. I have a tough time playing Wild off stream, and I'm like, okay, so at least there's maybe like Standard could be fun. And then I go to Standard, and
you can play games, but I don't know that I'd call them fun.
I'm playing some games, and like I was kind of enjoying like Quest Warrior a lot. I was enjoying Quest Warrior a lot, and then I played 2 Mech Warriors in a row, and I'm like, all right, I'm wasting my time doing this. I need to play Mech Warrior. So then I was playing Mech Warrior again, which was the first time since the Brawl, but it felt exactly the same, and it felt like it was doing the same things, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, this is kind of okay, I guess. But I'm just sort of like, I try to play Arena. Arena feels so tilting right now. Paying 2 tickets and then like you either you suck or you get bad rolls. It's hard for me to determine right now which I'm at. I think I don't have a good handle on the arena meta, but also it's so steep to play now. And then you come out the other side and the rewards may or may not be actually worth it. And so I'm playing less arena now, which is kind of frustrating because like I kind of liked arena as a way to play with the new cards sometimes, where it's like, hey, this card definitely sucks and constructed, but like, hey, it's sort of built for arena. And especially since this was like a straight to arena expansion, I expected that to be even more fun. And it's just, the system's better, but it does feel so expensive to play, and I think I'm starting to turn into not a fan of it. And the problem is like I was somebody who was enjoying arena, playing less arena. I'm worried for that format now, which was already sort of a curated group of individuals. How much easier, how much harder is that to keep up? And do things need to get tweaked further? And do they get tweaked further? I don't know, like to be determined.
Yeah, my friends who play a lot of arena have been lamenting that it's not as fun as well. And actually also particularly not being a fan of the Quest Warlock, which we don't really see a lot in either constructed format. So it's kind of cool that it's good in arena, but apparently it's like OP, like get it out of the game, good in arena, which is just funny.
I could see it. Like you can like set your deck up to make infinite crappy cards that you just feed into that. And the portal minions do not suck.
No,
the portal minions do not suck. Dark gifts are also very good, and Warlock has some of the best dark gift cards. So I've noticed that that's also a common reason for why Warlock is so good right now. It used to be Druid. Druid was disgusting with the quest, I guess. I didn't play much arena there because I don't really like those super uneven metas where I feel like I have really low agency. I mean, I'm okay with uneven metas, but sometimes there's an arena meta where it's just like, no, you really... It didn't feel good to play in. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to play in this either. So then, okay, I'll go play standard, and now I'm getting like blown out by Dorian Warlock, which looks like a lot of fun to play, and I would actually play it. But I'm kind of pigeonholing myself into like how I'm using my deck slots right now. What I did was, Corbett on Discord posted a series of lists, and he goes, and here's your low sample size, high win rate decks so far since the patch. Or since the expansion came out, because like the patch did almost nothing in Wild. It did a couple things. It nerfed something like Shadow Priest, but like, is that really a big deal? Not particularly. and so it's a bunch of these decks, and some of them look crazy, some of them look kind of okay. Some of them are good decks, but just bad builds. The Hostage Mage that I think is still alive in the competition that I'm playing it has the Romath in the ETC, so you have to go ETC, Potion, ETC. Get Romath.
Bro.
And that's a turn 9 play, and then turn 10, now you have infinite Romaths, and it's just mental. Like, I've won a game against it because I happen to queue into a big shaman. The matchup is almost unlosable. Unless you play every green card whenever you can, you still might win anyway. But that would be one way to throw it.
Right.
But if you have any patience and know how long the opponent's big shaman's arm is, you're good to go. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm doing this competition where we're looking at small sample size, high win rate decks, and a lot of them look mental. And I'm doing it in like a Survivor style format. So if a deck accrues 2 losses, I eliminate it. And so that means that up to 27 people at a time can play. Right now I had actually I cut it off at 36, so that's like another 9 loading up after that. So as decks are getting eliminated, I'll then go ahead and play 2 games with the next deck, or I'll play enough games to get it up to code, up to ready to go.
Parity with whatever the other decks are.
Yeah, parity with whatever we've done, whatever round we're at. And I'm just going round after round after round with that. On my own stream. And what's kind of weird is like there are people who I can see in chat who seem like actually like energized. It's like, oh yeah, this is a brand new thing, and like they get so psyched up for it. And then I also get like, I have never gotten so many deck requests when I'm not taking deck requests. It's incredible. It's like 5 or 6 people like all reached out to me. Like Copper Scum sent me like a last night in chat is like, here you go, Schmoopy, and like just like 6 a.m. genius. And I'm like, Copper, I'm so sorry, I'm just not taking decks right now, because I went down HS Guru on these small sample sizes. Like we're talking like only like maybe 100 games, maybe.
Oh wow.
Right, but like it's 100 games, but it's got like a 57% win rate. So you're just like, Schmoopy, you can't have a 57% win rate with 100 games because well, whatever, chat. So anyway, like you go,
you can by winning 57
I know you can.
games.
I know you can, but
you can't get 57.5.
Right. I'm waiting for like, you know what I mean, like some hard to determine number where it's just like, that's a rounding error. It's like, shut up, nerd. Anyway, so you were like looking at this stuff, and barbecue actually hit legend today. Have we had barbecue on yet?
I don't think so.
We need to change that on here at some point. So our buddy Barbecue likes to meme pretty hard, and hit legend today with the Dragon Warrior that I have on there. That's like, it's like got sick. Dark gifts, and it's got dragons. It looks like a sheep deck. I should ship it to you actually. It looks like a sheep. It looks like a sheep deck, and he hit legend with it today. So like it kind of works. Like statistically, it looks okay, and then you play it, and it's like just too fair. It's like so close to being unfair, but it's just too fair. And it's a ton of decks like that. And so I'm going through and I'm kicking some out. And it's weird because on one hand, it's like I'm enjoying the change of pace. And like, these are decks with a high win rate, even on a small sample size. They're usually not awful. One of them is literally like Cards Warrior with like Fierce Monkey and like Alkaloid of Pain for reasons. One was an XL Taunt Warrior that was running Loot Hoarder, and I'm like, chat, it's a taunt deck, and we have like mostly taunts, right? And they're like our main minions, and this is 2 mana. Why are we playing Loot Hoarder over something like what is it? The 2 mana draw two taunt minions. We play it in Mech. Oh yeah, War all the time. Spell, not that one. You know what spell I'm talking about? It's like this spell exists. This is like a clear upgrade, and also like surely there are better taunts than Fierce Monkey. Like just like weird, just like the weirdest stuff. And then I'm stuck playing with it anyway. So like I find it kind of refreshing that even if like the stuff's terra bad, usually it's not. It's kind of okay and it's kind of playable, and I can kind of maintain my rank, but I don't want to mess that up because like now if I play Wild, it's almost like, well, this isn't the MMR that the next deck would get. It's so like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. But yeah, that's my week. Generally not super stoked about this expansion, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight, but you know, it's good. What's happening in the news, Sheep?
Welcome to the news. The news is so good.
Is it?
The first bit of news is that the card that we were thinking about was called Quality Assurance.
There we go. It's at the tip of my tongue.
And that was the last bit of the news from this week.
It was. You were saying before we started the pod, it was all BG stuff, right? It was all like BG's balance and
not even balance. So there's a new Battlegrounds season, I think. I don't know. I'm so not plugged into Battlegrounds. I don't even know for sure.
I have a screenshot of Neon Heron typing out BG's causes depression. And I've used that screenshot so much over the years now. He used to love playing it, and he's like the meta right now is like bananas. Like it needs some serious scaling down. Like you have infinite comps, you have stats that are in like the hundreds of thousands regularly, and it's like not even you have you have infinite loops, just like stupid stuff going on. And he's like, all right, we got to bring Bee Gees back. We got to find Jesus on Bee Gees. So I don't know. You said that maybe the new set's going to be less. I've heard that maybe it's less powerful than previous sets, like the new set of minions.
Perhaps. The season 11 Echoes of Ngoro was announced yesterday, and it comes out August 5th. So, we'll see if the Bee Gees takes a step up or down. But Arphis is in the key art, so like I'm already more likely to play it than if I hadn't seen the key art. So like, good job there, art team.
Borf. Well played, Borf.
And that actually does conclude our news portion.
Pretty much. Good job for getting that card, Schmoopy. Nice job, Schmoopy. Thanks.
High five.
High five.
But we get to have a fun discussion tonight, which is the really exciting part. So I will split this up into kind of two different areas.
Standard and wild.
Yeah. So we'll start with the wild. Let's start with the standard one because we have less to talk about for that one. That'll be kind of quick and dirty. Mm-hmm. So Schmoopy highlighted the standard thought from the Vicious Syndicate meta report. So for the uninitiated, Vicious Syndicate puts out meta reports for standard multiple times an expansion. And it's like a whole report. Like there's a lot of, narrative that goes into it as well. And here's the narrative that really stuck out to our buddy Schmoopy here. Mech Warrior is a very good case study for evaluating how much the power level has dropped over the past 16 months in Standard. At no point was Mech Warrior a seriously competitive deck until now. It was terrible before rotation. It remained weak during the Emerald Dream. It was weak after the addition of Inbringer Umbra, a month before the launch of Ungoro. It was weak after the launch of Ungoro. Now, it's a tier 1 performer. Food for thought. So what kind of made this assertion stand out for you? I have some thoughts as well, of course, but I want to hear your thoughts before.
I played a fair amount of Mech Warrior previously because it was like one of the best decks for we can't decide which one of these early brawls where you're getting the packs. It was we think Emerald Dream. Was it Emerald Dream or was it Great Dark Beyond?
I think it was Emerald Dream.
Yeah, I think it was like, it might have been Great Dark Beyond because I think it was Great Dark Beyond because Emerald Dream's busted deck was like some sort of like Starship Death Knight or something like that. You just spammed Starship Death Knight and you did fine.
So, I was thinking that
there's always that one deck
stuff was exempt from Into the Emerald Dream, but maybe that was the next one.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was exempt from this one. Regardless, I played it a ton.
A recent.
And I was like, oh, this feels great. This feels like a great deck. If this doesn't do anything in Standard, they're like, no, nothing in Standard. So I remember the play pattern. I remember liking the play pattern, but like, getting that reality check that, okay, yes, but then like, you leave the cushy confines of we can't use all of the cards in the Tavern Brawl, and some people don't even have access to the most recent ones because, they haven't opened the packs yet. So I got lots of experience from it, but I realized that like, all right, yeah, okay, I get it. I get why this is weak when you start branching out to Constructed. The fact that it's tier 1 now is like kind of mental to me. It's a really slow pile of damage deck, and then eventually you run out of the pile of damage, and you've either won or you've lost. If you happen to high roll double Battlecry Spirit, Endbringer Umbra like I have, that's a lot of fun, but it's not a lot of fun for the opponent 9 times out of 10. I don't know what how have you been liking? I just like the fact that it's like nowhere and now all of a sudden it's a tier 1 performer. It stuck out to me. And you know, I'm no fan of reducing the power level. How have you been liking the standard format?
Yeah, I haven't been playing as much standard. You know, especially since the nerfs. Like I think it was mostly with Hydra that I was talking about before nerfs, how like it felt like almost like a love letter to previous standards, like with a big druid, with Murloc Paladin, with this, that, and the other, and that feeling did not last very long. So yeah, we've got our mech warrior now. You can, if you happen to like high roll, like you can on like 2 coin out your weapon. On 3 you can like safety goggles into part scrapper, which takes 5 of your armor and turns up to 5 of your armor and turns it into, or
Future
discounts your next mech played by that amount of armor. And wouldn't you know it, the testing dummy is 6 mana, so discounted by 5 is 1. And so for 3 mana, you can play testing dummy on 3. And if you coined out on 2 the weapon, or you do all of that stuff on 3 and then you weapon, then play the miniaturized version of the weapon and swing, then you can actually start like going on the burn plan pretty early if you high roll.
We did that on Linny's stream. I say we because she was still learning how to play the deck because it's not the kind of deck she would normally play. She's like, warrior, ew. But we had that exact play where it was 4 mana and she had the coin. And she had just spent last turn doing safety goggles into the discount. So she got to do testing dummy, wrench, mini wrench. So the first wrench breaks, so you get the battle cry from that. Then swing, and then it pews again. I think she already had the big wrench up. I forget. She also weaved in earlier. She already weaved in like a part scrapper or whatever, the not part scrapper, the discounter. The one where it makes a copy of the mech and then it chucks it. And then that mech dies, and so you've got the testing dummy spraying everywhere. Anyway, like
recommendecum, yeah.
We worked through a couple plays because she was just sort of learning the lines. And one of her redeems is learn Hearthstone in Swedish from Chewy, who's her live-in boyfriend right now. And so, you know, she'll call Chewy over, and Chewy's got like a golden card back for people who don't know. Like he's like, you know, no joke standard player pushing for, you know, being, you know, making Hearthstone almost a profession, right?
I was about to say he's really good, but like you could say the same thing about Lenny. So they're both
Lenny's
very
also
good.
Really,
he has the external validation for it, though.
She's if she gets serious, she's spooky, but a lot of times she's playing pet cards instead. She should be playing piles in Wild. I'm a big believer in that. If she managed her collection a little better. Anyway, we'll work on it. We'll get I have fun in her stream. But one of her rewards is like get coached by Chewy. And it's so funny because before it starts, it's 10k points. It's always worth the 10k points. He comes over and he's only allowed to talk in Swedish. And she's constantly like she'll start playing the deck. She won't know how to play it, right? Like he'll know it very well. She won't know how to play it. And it'll start out like the same every time, where she's kind of like just sort of doing things quickly before he's able to say anything, and he already starts getting frustrated. And so I'm like, all right, make sure Chewy, when she's not getting it, say it louder and slower. That usually helps. And so And so, like, this is what starts to unfold is, like, he starts getting upset and he starts getting louder about things. And like, it's funny every time because she starts looking, like, a little hunted, right? And so before she moves every card, she starts, like hunching over to see if she can read his facial expressions by where the cursor is placed on the screen. And so it becomes not about the Swedish anymore and more of, like, the person reading the person. She was doing that to chat today when she was learning Mech Warrior. She's just like, how do I play Mech? And, like, if you've never had to, like, you know, work through those sequences before, like, you're learning them on the fly, and she's, you know, she's a little scattered to begin with, and she does a great job of managing chat and, like, what the music's doing, and is the stream still running, and my play, and someone subbed, I have to draw them a Pokemon. What Pokemon am I going to draw them? And so she hasn't taken the time to, like, think about the Mech Warrior lines yet. And so she's giving that look to chat. So I started typing coaching messages in Swedish using Google Translate, which Chewy swings by. Is like, why is Schmoopy typing in weird Swedish? And I'm like, well, you were gone, and Linny was looking for chat to coach her, so I felt like it had to be in Swedish because you weren't here. Using Google Translate, he's like, all right, yeah, carry on. And so that's and so you know, that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. And but like I'm like trying to, like, type wrench in all capital letters, but in Swedish, and it wasn't even the right word. I don't know where we were going with this, but we were playing a lot of Mech Warrior today.
Yeah, and it's so the power level of things going down, I think was what we were kind of going there for standard.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, and I wonder what further balance looks like, and if we're going to get it sooner or not sooner. The way, like, people are desperately talking about it, they're like, well, we'd really like to see one sooner rather than later, but normally we'd wait. So I have people asking, when's the mini set? And in this early juncture, it's not a good. Didn't it launch this month? Hasn't it been, like, when did it launch?
Like 2 weeks ago. It has not been long, and
Like,
and this one came out earlier too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it did.
Like,
It did. Yeah, this is the new schedule. We're on the new schedule now, so it should be the normal cadence. Next month is when we would probably get the mini set, I would assume. If they're still doing mini sets. There's no reason that they wouldn't be doing mini sets. I'm just saying.
Following the
same
sets
pattern,
for money, so, like, that's not going to get cut. If mini sets weren't making money, then, but
so not a good sign.
No, not a good sign. And I think that, honestly, that's why I've been so much less invested in standard, like, right about now. Like, I loved the big druid, not playing that anymore. Like, the low nerf slowed it down so much. I have been playing some Aviana druid. My THL teammate slipped me a list because, you know, I haven't hit legend in standard, but, like, I've got a THL match on Sunday, so I'm gonna at least need to know a few decks. And anyway, so I got that one. Of course, Dorian Warlock. Like, if there's a big deck,
that deck looks so fun. I wish
Dude,
I could
really
delete
is.
decks right now to try it out.
And that one's actually really fun. It's got ramp. Like, it's got big dumb minions. It's got ways to get big dumb minions cheaper. Like, it's everything about it is just like, you would like it.
And you know what's funny is hearing people describe it initially, it seemed like it was like it bricked really hard or really often, but then I'm like watching people who are talented play the deck and I'm like, oh, you just only saw one linear line. Like, it actually kind of reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of this Alex Hooktusk Rogue combo that is floating around wild right now. That is, like, all the rage again with like rogue mains. All the rogue mains want to play just this one deck, and then they want to type out every freaking combo line that you can follow to find lethal with the deck, because it runs both. It's running both Hook Tusk, and it's running Alex, so you can pick and choose which way you want to go, and like you ramp with Ysera, and then you're basically printing mana, and then you're doing like crazy stuff from there. And this is kind of like that, right? But just like using Dorian and Catacombs, and then getting 1 mana Piggies, and getting 1 mana Yseras, and getting, you know, Ferox that like your opponent plays the health for it, and then it might also kill them from like 30, like that on turn 4. Like, I've seen some footage on turn 4, mental, but they sort of play the similar to that. So that looks fun, but toxic.
So there's that one. What exactly? That's fun. Let me see what all decks I've even got in standard.
There's like
right
Quest
now.
Warrior. There's Cycle Rogue.
Cycle Rogue is good. So I've got for my match, I've got Demon Hunter, Druid, Hunter, and Warlock. Since I'm playing Legacy, I'm not going to go into what each individual one of those is, but like, you know what the Warlock is. Everyone knows what the Warlock is. Let's be real. Right. And then just like the other two are kind of just aggro, like, because it's me, you know?
But you're bringing Dark Gift Warlock, right? You're bringing the Dark Gift Warlock.
Absolutely. Not Dorian. Only Dark Gifts.
Only Dark Gifts. Only Dark Gifts.
But like every once in a while, some of these like fun things will pop up. And, you know, where like low druid, I didn't think I played a decent amount of low druid, you know, that big druid, what I was calling it on the show, right? Like it was flashy. It was fun. It, you know, it could brick, but it could also just like win super hard. Like it was, I didn't feel like that one was a particular like play pattern or like win rate outlier or anything like that. And then that got hit pretty hard and you hardly ever see it at all anymore. And it's just kind of like anything that's a good deck that kind of peaks up just a little seems like it gets hit. Like whack-a-mole down, and it's like, oh, we're not allowed to have good decks is kind of what it feels like in standard.
Not allowed to have good cards. Not allowed to have good decks.
Yeah.
And not allowed to have fun. Fun is outlawed. Fun is outlawed and enforced by balance patches. It's weird. It's weird, and I've seen it in standard players where, and here's the weirdest part of it. And the weirdest part of it is I think the large balance patches have been popular because the amount of dust they generate. And so people start looking at the dust and they're like, oh, I'm getting all this dust. I get to try all this new stuff. And so they just slush their dust over to like the next best new thing that also inevitably gets like, you know, slushed down the tube. And so now you have to, you know, take your dust and put that into something else. But I see people like being like, oh man, I hope this gets nerfed. Oh man, I hope this gets nerfed. I want the dust for this. I want the dust for this. And it's like, I'm looking around at the standard players and they're all like dust fiends, just wanting like anything that's remotely good. Oh, this can get nerfed and I can get dust for it. Like, it's like, what game are we playing? Are we playing the dust game, or are we playing like a game where we want to have fun with the cards? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of felt like, at least in standard, like every once in a while I'll have a little bit more fun, but I'm not playing as much of it because I haven't been having as much fun. So, you know, I've been playing some reps for THL prep, but that's about it. And that's not normal for me.
No, usually you're a little bit more into the standard part at this stage still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the past couple months notwithstanding, like I typically hit Legend in both formats, right? I typically honestly hit it in standard first just because like there's more people, it's a little bit faster to find matches. Typically, like honestly, like Wild is harder. So there is that, but like, I think I'm D10. I don't think I have a star bonus anymore. And this may be where I end up the month, and I'm okay with that because I'm having more fun in our format. So I've been playing more of our format.
Speaking of our format, let's look at what that meta looks like.
Yeah, what's been good there?
That's going to resurrect some ghosts of metas past. So the story that is playing out for most of the ladder is that Discard Warlock is the old deck that was sort of on the fringe, and it was kind of like fringe playable. You could win games with it. I had no players that were hitting Legend with it. Different versions of it, but the new cards, Platosaur and Cursed Catacombs specifically, have really pushed it. It has become the new, like, dirt cheap, if I'm just getting into Wild, I'm going to play this one deck type deck. And really the only cost is rares, commons, and 2 Cursed Catacombs, which, depending on, like, you know, your nerf prospecting, you're probably, if you spend dust on them, you'll probably get them back at some point in Standards history in the next 2 years, right? Like, the card's busted. But these have really pushed Discard. Yeah, these have really pushed Discard Warlock to be very popular. To the point where it's effectively pushed out all other aggro. Shadow Priest can't hold a candle to it. Weird stuff like Even Shaman is popping up, that like maybe Even Shaman has butts that are big enough they can eat a Soul Barrage or 6. And still challenge the board kind of aggressively. Imbue Mage is basically like, I have to double check at Diamond through Legend, but at one point Imbue Mage was like gone. Disco had basically hunted out all of aggro. At the same time, it is terrible into control piles. And so what you're seeing near the top of the ladder is Seedlock. Seedlock and Hostage Mage basically duking it out. Some people would say that Hostage Mage warps the meta more than Disco does because of Mage survival tools. But Seedlock was like basically very, very well placed to be, you know, top of the heap base and feeding on Discard Warlocks and being good into the other control piles. Disco is keeping combo away because it's just fast enough and violent enough. You can't remove the pieces. You just get washed away as combo. So that's, you know, Disco really warping things but not being in the driver's seat. But one of the things that is popping up is this XL Call to Arms Paladin, which, you know, people just dropped when Order got nerfed, but still looks kind of okay. So what I did was I brought up the Call to Arms Paladin that Corbett shared in his Discord today after some experimenting. He thinks 4 of the minions technically in the list are poo-poo. He does not like Razor Scale. He does not like Explodoneer. But if you're wondering to yourself, why are those 2 cards in the deck? Why is there an Explodoneer in my hand right now? Explodoneer shuffles the deck. So if you're up against Holy Wrath Paladin, 2 things drive them absolutely nuts. Nerebar Weblord, it's thing number 1. And thing number 2 is Explodoneer. Explodoneer drives them absolutely bonkers because now anytime they're trying to set up like a Dredge OTK or an Overplanner, you're shuffling their stuff up and they don't get to. Neither are very good, but those were like, you know, Razor Scale is really good on, I don't know, rogues or combos sometimes, and Explodoneer is just to mess with that. So that's looking like the most busted deck in the format. And if you're really having a problem, somebody came into my chat the other, like, it might have been last night. They were like, "What would you do if you see all Disco and Imbue Mages? What would you play?" And I think I would play XL Call to Arms Paladin. I think that would be the one. What's your deck, Sheep?
Yeah, so I've been playing what I call Big Priest. So Big Priest is our new quest, Reach Equilibrium. So you have to play 4 shadow spells to do 1/2 of it. You get one half of the thing into your hand. And you have to play 4 holy spells to get the other half. And once you've got both halves in your hand, they combine into the big minion. So you'll notice this is called Big Priest, and there are no minions in it whatsoever. That's because we are getting our one minion from our quest pretty consistently. And so this, true to form, my deck caps out at, I'm going to say 3, even though there's a 4 on there, because Gravedown Sunbloom is Kindred, costs 2 less if you played a holy spell last turn.
That card has felt really good to me.
It's felt real good. Yeah, like the Love Everlasting on 3 into just like Gravedawn Sunbloom go is incredible. So much fun. So you definitely want to be completing both stages of the quest on the same turn because, you know, Dirty Rat's a thing, right? Like, so you can pretty consistently complete both on turn 4, or if you've got like a Love Everlasting up, you can oftentimes even set it up to where you're 1 tick away on both. You have something that costs 2 or less, and then you have Illuminate, a shadow spell that costs 2 or less, and then Illuminate, which costs 0. You can complete both the same turn, as well as dredge something that then is absolutely going to be cheaper because you don't run any minions in your deck. Illuminate is just dredge and discount. No stipulation on it for our deck. So then you get your quest reward minion, which each individual one is only a 4/4, but once you complete both is an 8/8. So it's a 5 mana 8/8 with Reborn and Taunt, and Death Rattle deal 5 damage to a random enemy. So a 5 damage rag shot as the Death Rattle, right?
Right.
So you drop that on 5, and then you just keep on resurrecting it or copying it with like Power Chord Synchronize, etc. So then you just kind of keep on making more 8/8s with Taunt and Reborn and the Ragshot Death Rattle. And I sailed to Legend with this, like completely, because whenever I was playing against aggro, like I've got removal, and then the removal, the culmination of that is an 8/8. Sorry, that I neglected to mention earlier. The 8/8's Battle Cry summons a copy of this minion. So it says copy of this. So if you've Power Word synchronized it, it's not just 1 8/8 or 1 9/11 or whatever, or 9/10, or synchronizes 2/1. I don't remember. It's been a long day. But you don't have one that has buffed stats. You have 2 that has buffed stats.
Right.
And taunt. And. So against aggro, you control their board, then you put up a wall, and then whenever your wall comes down, you have more walls. And when your wall comes down, then it does rag shots, and you just win the game. And if you're against control, the number of times that my opponent did something like a twisting nether to give me lethal, or a brawl to give me lethal, because I have a board full of
right. They're just not doing the math, and like, oh, okay.
So they cleared their board as well, and just boom, 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 all to their face. And against some pretty quality opponents too. It's just, it's a new deck, it's a new card, and it's not one that we're seeing everywhere. So I totally understand why it's kind of catching some people by surprise. There are, of course, a number of downsides. We're running no minions. So like if we get devolved, we have 2 random 4-drops. For the most part, that's not a huge deal because most of our resurrect effects resurrect death rattles specifically. But I'm running resurrect itself as well because it's just so consistent to get that 5 mana 8/8 that having that redundancy in there and that cheap oftentimes free with Love Everlasting. Just resurrect on your 8/8 with taunt is just so good. So totally worth the inclusion and the keep, not keeping it in your mulligan, but keeping the deck list. But so much fun, a really, really kicking rad deck. It can lose to disruption. So like if you're playing against a Reno deck, keep your power chord synchronized. If you're playing against Shaman, keep your power chord synchronized.
How do you beat objection? Pray tell.
So you
Funny thing
don't. That's the thing. You don't.
Generate a lackey and then you check it out in there.
You actually don't really have a whole lot of ways. I guess palm reading, and that's about it. To just straight up generate a completely different a card that wasn't in your deck whatsoever. But my initial, whenever I was cooking this up, it wasn't too different from this. There were like 2 or 3 cards that were different that I shared with Schmoopy and Hydra before, and was like, oh, this has been a lot of fun. And one of the cards I was running was Raden, and I specifically mentioned that was for objection protection. And then it's just kind of like, well, what if instead of I can't remember exactly, Schmoopy, what you said, but it was very much like, yeah, but we're just not gonna win those anyway. Like, why don't we just make our deck even better? And so I was just like, I mean, I'll try it. And I'm glad I did.
Your list looks clean. I just have zero faith in the archetype. I'm making faces. I have zero faith in the archetype. I have played it, so it's been requested to me so many times at this point. And Pokeniner, our friend in the community, loves sending me it on a nightly basis, sometimes twice a night. And I've had some games where it's done the thing and it's been like, oh man, look at this thing go. And then I've had some games where it has been completely fizzled or gotten run over or what have you. I think it's like people are excited there's a quest that's possibly playable in Wild, and they will do anything to play it because they're like, no, we must have new funds. And so this is the best we got. I think that's where people are at with it, personally.
Yeah. Well, and to kind of yes and that, I'm highlighting this exact version because it's honestly different from a lot of the other quest priests that we're seeing. I'm going so hard in on it being essentially a big priest that I've called it big priest, and I'm just running straight up resurrection, right? Most of these run a lot more minions and don't run just resurrection as a random res card, right? They run Xyrella, they run other cards like that, and I don't think that's
cards
wrong.
You never actually use.
But I wasn't using those, so I was like, I'm gonna lean into this quest as hard as I can. And I enjoyed it, obviously. But I was totally inspired by Pokeniner, in particular, shipping that list last week. So from here, Schmoopy, let's stick with the priest, but talk about a little bit of a different priest. Tell me about this Nazmani priest that you shared with us.
Yeah, sure. So this is the newest. I said last week when we were like looking at decks, and I was like, all right, when I have a good Nazmani list, I'll share with you guys the good Nazmani list. It's the list that I would use. You're only running 2 minions in the deck to start. It was Boar, and it was not Nazmani Bloodweaver. So why don't we just add a third? Why don't we add Chillin' Vol'jin, which can also have a helpful battle cry if we make more than 1 Boar and reduce it to 0. But also, now we also get access to Birdwatching, and Birdwatching being yet another minion tutor is just super good for this deck. Essentially, you tempo out Nazmani Bloodweaver on 3. You rip a palm reading, discount stuff in your hand, or you copy the Nazmani Bloodweaver. If your opponent kills it off, who cares? You've got Animate Dead, you've got other Bloodweavers, and you go nuts. Eventually, you throw enough light speeds onto a Stone Tusk Boar, you go face. And May is once again calling this ableist priest in chat. Yes, it is absolutely ableist priest. I have had a couple games with this version last week that I won on stream. I've actually been very successful with Nazmani Priest on stream, thanks to my infinite reps with it. Thanks to Dreadshot, who liked seeing me suffer, but I got better at it, and so I've kind of figured it out. I put 40 light speeds down on a boar, no problem. This is not an animation cheat deck. This is actually, and the weird part is like when you watch even better streamers like OTZ play it, or KVLT, where the number of times, thanks to the faster animation on the Nazmani Bloodweavers, you find yourself like not quite having what you need, but having half of it. And so you drop the Bloodweaver down and you go fishing for the second half. And oh my God, you found the second half. And now we got to go, now we got to go, now we got to go. And you still find lethal against a 40 card deck. Is kind of incredible. So I will say, the deck's power and the resilience have impressed me, as well as the APM is taxing but not impossible, because again, I'm able to do it. I'm able to put 40 onto a boar. If I can put 40 onto a boar, I think basically anybody can, especially if I go into the turn.
Mobile.
I imagine you can't. Well, the animations are different, right? So on mobile, it's probably nowhere close. But this is a ton of fun, especially if you can play it on PC. It is actually one that I wouldn't say you can do on mobile. Sometimes they're shorter on mobile, but this is the version I would use, just because you have the extra minion tutoring, and Chillin' Vol'jin actually has some function too.
Yeah, this is the version that I played as well, and if I recall correctly, last week I did a very brief monologue about how Chillin' Vol'jin like actively won me a few games with like my boar like switch around, because I was playing on mobile when the animations were
I mean, you could make some good boards,
limit.
but like you might not be able to just like bore them from 40, so you have to make something kind of resilient. I haven't even tried it on mobile yet.
Totally doable as a here stats. Can you deal with this? Of course you can't. I can then just like bloop blah 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 blah. Not really as much of an OTK deck, but you can still kind of get there with OTK with it. But it's more tempo on mobile because the OTK potential is significantly diminished. But fun deck, really fun deck, whether you're playing it OTK style or just more tempo style like I was.
And last but not least, our former meta tyrant, Seedlock. I actually have my buddy Filterphobe's rank 1 Seedlock over here. As previously mentioned, Disco's pushing all the aggro out. It's also keeping the combo down. If there is less combo, that's good for the Demon Seed. If there's more control, it's good for the Demon Seed. And I don't know, the Cursed Catacombs in this deck seem super fun. Like, I've played a couple different versions of this. There's also a Thaddeus based one where you summon it with by blowing up an imprisoned horror with your little 3/3. So basically you blow it up, and then that pulls out, you just killed the 9 drops, and now you pull the 10 drop from your deck. And it's built a little bit more like everything costs 1 or 3, mostly 1, because the 1 mana stuff is free. And so you just chug through your deck with mass productions, and you know that Tamsin costs 3 when she comes down. And it's like a turn, it's like a turn 6 OTK. It's definitely something to watch for, because it might be like kind of a cheater deck, but there's no hardcore evidence that people are doing that regularly anyway, because I think it kind of sucks too much. But this deck is like, this deck will beat up Disco. This deck has a ton of healing, it has a ton of removal. Miracle Rogue is dried up, so it's probably correct to run 2 Plague of Flames now and not like a Plague of Flames and a Kata. So, this is what Filterphobe used to hit rank 1. Probably still works, and it probably still is very good into the field as it stands. And Sheeps, what is your thoughts on this list, or the wild meta in general at this moment?
Yeah, so I'll start with this list because, I mean, it's so clean. It looks like, just fantastic 40 card Demon Seed deck.
Can we call it clean if it's got a Curse of Rafam in their main deck? The Curse of Rafam in their main deck is like, it's Ice Block tech, right? And the One Dirty Rat is combo tech. But
yeah, I mean, it depends on your pocket meta. Like, I think I wouldn't run them for what I see, but higher level players who are consistently running into a mage, yeah, that absolutely. Allah mentions have too much hostage mage in top legend. So yeah, that makes sense. That actually is validating, in fact. Yay. But yeah, so I mean, with the tech cards for pocket metas notwithstanding, I mean, I understand why Filterfoam made the choices that they did there. And honestly, I can see myself forgetting to change the Curse of Rafam whenever I sleeve it up and just not being too grumpy about it.
yeah, I mean, that's like, a second rat might even be better. Who knows? You're kind of favored in the mage matchup anyway, but this is supposed to be like the nail in the coffin, I guess. The Curse of Rafam that will kill through block. But you're usually like so fast that you force the hostage mage to really have the nuts to protect themselves when you start dealing, a bunch in a turn with mass productions. So, and no chat. Let's solve this here and now. Geist does not beat Demon Seed. They just start fatiguing you and beating you with giants and stuff. Don't delude yourself into thinking just because you have Geist, you now have the upper hand on the Demon Seed. That I just refuse for that to be relevant or true. I don't know. The meta seems okay, but it seems less diverse than the last one. I think we've covered that before. The big story being probably we should be playing more Call to Arms Paladin than we have been. XL Call to Arms Paladin. Why the XL version is better than the 30 version, plus 10 health, and you can tutor beam, and the deck still works.
Yeah, great answer. And I honestly agreed. Like it feels like the meta's contracted a little bit, but it also kind of feels like it's. I mean, I hit legend with Quest Priest.
Yeah, you hit legend with Spice, right?
I was talking about all the different like fun, interesting, and like exciting things you could do with it, but like. I don't know that I would call that like a good, like a tier 1 deck. It's a fancy, like it's a fun deck. It's the new, you called it spicy. It's the spicy deck. Yeah. It's the fun thing that hopefully maybe can be refined further to be even better. But I don't know. It seems all to say, experimentation doesn't seem to be punished as much right now, which I appreciate.
It's just if the stuff we're experimenting with.
Yes. So,
I'm sorry, I cut you off. If we're avoiding what?
If we're avoiding aggro, essentially, because we're either playing the Demon Seed or we're just losing all of our aggro games. It is kind of what it seems like. I'm not really calling Call to Arms Paladin like an aggro deck, even though it really kind of is.
It's aggro.
Yeah. But I was thinking more the like
I think
druids kind of stuff.
Well, I think like something that would do well right now is like Warrior probably does okay. Highlander Shaman probably does okay. If you're seeing lots and lots of disco. Like you're either farming the disco or you're getting farmed by the disco. And so I feel like that's the first question you're asking yourself in the format right now when you're choosing what to play. And then the Demon Seed's like, there's no one really focusing on doing what you have to do to, to counter the Demon Seed right now. Like I see KVLT, do Dungar Druid and do okay with Dungar Druid, but then I also see streams where KVLT does Dungar Druid and he's miserable the entire time because it's not working. So like it's playable right now, but you know, it's good seed lock meta because nobody's focusing on it.
Yeah, and I almost wonder if that contraction, it's definitely made the experimentation different, right? Like I was saying with the like, oh, we're not experimenting with aggro, and you know that I like to experiment with aggro. The aggro decks that are good are Disco Lock and we'll call XL Call to Arms Paladin an aggro deck. And that one. So like those two super refined, super good decks, right? And then things that can beat up on those or things that can beat up on the things that beat up on those, right? Like it's kind of almost like a bit of a rock, paper, scissors type thing. And if you can find something kind of like I did, the kind of threads the needle and can win both, then like that's how I was able to experiment my way. But nah, it's still worse than the meta we had before. It's still a lot better than standard. Like I can still experiment in our format and still find fun.
Yeah. I think the fact that Miracle Rogue has fallen off as much as it has also been a positive. I think too many early game stat blowout decks, the format starts to bog down a lot. Like you try to do something fun and you just get blown out. And Miracle Rogue can do that to you. People have really fallen off of Miracle Rogue. I'm not sure if it's just because, you know, it's kind of rough into removal piles or what. But I see fewer people trying Miracle Rogue. Like Copper's doing funny things where now he's trying to make the new Phoenix work, and he's trying to make Stenographers work, and he's trying to make Biteweed work, and Eddie work, and like all in a crazy deck. But you know, it's you can't really experiment in aggro, and it's tough to experiment in combo because of the disco. And so you can experiment to your heart's content in like control or like greed piles. So.
Mm-hmm.
Unrelated Advice with Schmoopydady.
Schmoopydady.
Sheep.
So I'm getting over the sinus infection that I've had, right? Like no fun. Mm-hmm. Not gonna go into the deets on that. You teach in a high school, so I imagine that you are exposed to sickness like whoa. You know, the thing that my friends who are also parents tell me is that like, oh, you've got a kid, like, oh, you're just gonna be sick for the next 18 years. It's looking at my friends who are teachers and going, how are you not just sick for 18 years straight? So, Schmoopydady, how do you keep from getting sick every time you enter the petri dish that is your place of employment?
You lick it.
Wiser words have never been spoken. And you heard that on
Born to be wild.
Yeah, you just lick it.
You lick it?
Yeah, you lick it. I'm not sure. My like I'm always fighting something off. I really am. And you can see the waves when they go through. And yeah, I don't know. You just the joke is you lick it, but in reality it's more like you're always exposed to it, so you're okay for now because your body can keep up, right? But it can only remember so many illnesses at a time. So like, I'm kind of running through my counter extra quick, I guess. I don't know. You lick it.
You're going the Mr. Burns approach, huh?
Pretty much.